Hello everyone, it's Kylie from PaperDaisyJournals. I have a slightly different style of journal to share with you today, so I will explain how I've made the cover of the journal. On the front and the back, I have used two pieces of A5 size light cardstock, and I have hand stitched some linen and a layer of lace, and also this piece of fabric that wraps around to the front cover onto the back of the journal. I've also attached this piece of lace fabric with two really beautiful vintage buttons, so there is space under here to use as a tuck spot. And the signatures, there are two signatures to this journal. I have used two mother of pearl buttons as a feature on the spine of the journal. Now that piece of lace fabric wraps around to the front, and there's also a piece of fabric underneath, which is what gives the spine a little bit of structure. And on the front, I've used another A5 size piece of light cardstock where I've hand sewn the a piece of linen to the front cover, and also this beautiful vintage doily which is cut out on the side, and I thought that was really beautiful. I've also hand stitched a quilted heart to the front and popped in just a little vintage velvet flower to create a type of closure, but it can easily be removed. It's not stuck in. So yeah, this journal has two front covers that are separate, but they're joined by the spine, the fabric spine on the side. And inside I have covered the fabric and the stitching that I've done with some beautiful old French embroidery magazine pages. So that's the front and the back. I didn't put any pockets because I wanted to keep the feeling of the journal cover quite light, but you can see I've used a piece of fabric on the inside of the spine, and I've just used glue to stick that down, craft glue, and that's also going to be held together by the binding of the signatures. So I'll just take you through the journal now. That is one of my collaged tags on a printed page from one of my kits, and a beautiful old envelope which can be used as a pocket, but I've put a little pocket on the back with a handmade tag, and a book page tag just in a little lace pocket, and that's on a beautiful French I think it's a fashion magazine page, and a little detail at the top there. This is from a printed kit in my shop, and I've just put some lace at the top, and that is an original coupon from Walter Baker's, just tucked in there on some music paper. Another flip out tag, that's original wallpaper, and a beautiful old French document with a button tab. Used a piece of lace to create a tuck spot. This is some really gorgeous old onion paper that I've just stuck it up in that tuck spot with some embossed pianola paper. This tuck spot is a little bit unique. So I had a piece of fabric and I've attached it on this side with a brad and created a tuck spot for a tag, and I've run that through the signature onto the other side. So when we get to that, you'll see that I've done the same thing but on the other side of the signature. This is a little tuck spot here and on that side as well, and they're just little collages I've stapled on. And here's the other side of the fabric with a brad and another handmade tag just tucked in there. So I thought that was kind of cute. In this pocket I've got a tag with some beautiful wallpaper, an old French document, and a little flash card in a pocket. The other side of that gorgeous document with a little advertisement as a flip down, and I've just stitched on a piece of fabric at the top. This is a little tuck spot, so the embroidered lace is actually heavy enough to hold something underneath, and I've just stuck a little old snippet to the top of that. I've used some old document as a tuck spot for a tag that has part of an old French receipt on it, decorating it. I've just pinned on a few pieces here, so beautiful embossed handmade paper and some old paper from a book with a little bit of wallpaper and some lace just for something a bit different and interesting, and that's just stuck on to that French fashion magazine page. And another printed page with a button tab into the second signature. This is another printed page from one of my kits, and I've just used a beautiful piece of embroidered trim to create some detail there. I made a tag stuck into a pocket, another wallpaper tag as a flip out, and that's a printed piece of ephemera that I've just put some trim onto the top, and that's a doily that I've just torn in half and just stitched on at the side there, and I've just glued it there because it goes through the signature to the other side, so that the signature string is actually holding it down at that side, and I just have a little tab at the top there with a button. Beautiful lace as a belly band, and another handmade journal stuck in there. This is an old receipt. I think it's a bank receipt, and I've made a little pocket there for a piece of ephemera, and then I've just tucked in a journaling card that I've made and collaged in the side there. Here I've got an old French, pretty sure it's a receipt from 1951. I've glued it down the sides and across the bottom, and I've added some lace there as well and a little trim detail, but I've used the signature string as the centerpiece, so there are two tuck spots, one on that side, which I'll just leave that in there, and one on this side as well. And I've made a tag out of old music paper and just put some beautiful fabric on there. I have just stuck a piece of fabric down the side with this gorgeous tatting lace as a layered detail over the top on both sides. This is a nice long pocket made out of an old Swiss handkerchief, and I've just hand stitched that on. Another wallpaper tag just in a tuck spot, and I've just folded the corner down of the trim that I've used, and I've just sewn on a little glass button at the top there, and you can see that's the other side of the doily coming through. I've just glued that down. A little cigarette card with some more of that beautiful onion paper clicked on there. Here I've got an old French letter, and I've just used a bulb pin and a little charm to add something special to that, and that's just tucked into some beautiful lace I've stuck down the side as a tuck spot. And that's the end of the journal. Quite an easy cover to make. Like I said, you've just got two pieces of A5 sized cardstock, and then you can just stitch or glue whatever you want onto the front and back, And then you've got the piece of fabric on the outside and on the inside, creating that beautiful loose sort of spine. I hope you found some inspiration in this video, and I also hope to see you in the next one. Bye!